Hi, everybody. Welcome in to Morning in the Valley. It is Monday, October the 13th. Glad you are with us this morning. We have got a bundle to get to today. We get to college basketball this weekend, a pair of exhibition games. Bradley on the road at Green Bay. You had Drake taking on Wichita State over at Wichita. We'll get into those coming up in a little bit. We'll continue our preseason previews. Coming up in just a couple of minutes, we will talk with Jeremy Rose. He is the voice of the Murray State women's program. Of course, the Racers winning their first Missouri Valley Conference regular season championship back in March. Also winning their first Valley tournament title, getting back to the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2008. So we'll talk with Jeremy. And about 9:30, we'll talk with Dave Snell, longtime voice of the Bradley Braves, and we'll get his thoughts on yesterday's exhibition, but also look ahead to another season in Peoria with the Braves. If you haven't done so already, please head to YouTube and subscribe for free to the program Morning in the Valley. Search us out. Very easy to find. And share, comment, like, all that stuff. It's go time. We're 3 weeks away from the start of the 2025-26 season. And for the first time yesterday, it felt, this weekend, I guess, on Saturday, it felt real. It felt like, hey, it's time. We've got basketball. We've got games going on. And we will start our conversation this morning with the Bradley Braves as they went to Green Bay and won 83-78 in their exhibition. Now, this is going to be the theme. We are going to repeat together as a group over and over for the next several weeks before we get it to go time. These are just exhibition games. The final score does not matter. It does not matter. You are going to see rotations and that are best described as tinkering. You're going to see guys play substantial minutes that aren't going to get that much time during the regular season. You just want to look for overall themes and maybe some stuff that jumps out. The final score doesn't matter. With that said, we have laid the groundwork with that. The most important thing, I think, also coming into this was, look, Green Bay, they're picked last in the Horizon League. So that, I think you see 83-78, you're like, oh no. Well, maybe the most important part of this was, at the half when it was 47-31. I thought Bradley played very well in the first half. But overall, again, you look at the total product. Brian Wardle played 11 guys. Nobody played more than 24 minutes. 10 different guys scored. The top 6 scorers scored somewhere between 8 and 12. So everything was very minutes, points, all of it very spread out amongst the group. But I thought all in all, especially what we saw in the first 20 minutes when you got to see bigger chunks of the starters and the guys that we think are going to play a lot of minutes, I thought they played very well. And there were a couple, look, we could go on and on and on and on and on, but it's one exhibition game. So again, on Overreaction Monday, we're going to try not to go too crazy. But I think when you look at some things that jumped out, I thought Amet Jonovic is, I'm telling you, man, I'm saw him last year, and I think what I saw yesterday, I was like, this guy is just going to be a problem. He is 7 foot. He is enormous, and when you look at when you watch sort of his moves, as we try to bring some video up here, it's just his feet just seem better this year, and to see him be able to make some moves in the post and be able to finish around the rim. There were some times early in the game too where it was, they throw it into him, and look, he would just dribble, back a guy down and just, finish at the rim with a baby hook. That's not going to happen in the regular season, obviously. I mean, all the defense is super vanilla. There's not a lot going on. They're not going to be running double teams at big guys. But you also saw, he had 6 points, 6 rebounds in 17 minutes. He had 3 offensive rebounds, had 3 assists, 7 feet tall. You can't teach that. And he's going to be able to, pass out of those double teams when they inevitably come. But I was like, boy, he just feels more proficient offensively. And that's a problem ultimately for everybody around the league. We talked, I was talking with somebody yesterday. I was like, Damarion Birch, who has been sort of one of the darlings in the offseason of like, boy, he's really improved for this Bradley team. And I was like, man, the way he just plays at 1,000 miles an hour, I think he is so disruptive on the defensive end. And what I said was, I was like, I think that Damarion Birch could very well end up on the all defensive team when it's all said and done. The other part I said was, I'll tell you who definitely will end up on the all-defensive team is Jaquan Johnson. He had 9 points, 3 steals, like this, where he just rips it away. And then look, we're out in transition. You get it to AJ Smith for the alley-oop. It was just you continue to see from Jaquan, who was just such a defensive force for them last year. His strength, again, that wasn't like, hey, I jumped a passing lane, I got a deflection. Guy just dribbles into the lane and he just rips it away, and then he's off and running. I thought that was 9 points, 3 steals for him. One of the additions this season that we'll talk with Dave Snell about coming up in a little bit, Alex Hubricks, the transfer from Wright State. He can be a home run hitter, and to see him have 3 threes in the first half, get the offensive rebound here, did Bradley, but hits 3 threes. Look, he's a kid, scored 13.5 at Wright State, 37.5 from 3, and he was just able to come in a flurry yesterday. And it was just bang, bang, bang from the outside. That is a big time weapon for head coach Brian Wardle and what they can get accomplished. The one name that I think we're going to have to watch as the season goes on, and it is October the 13th, but I'm already putting him on the short list for Missouri Valley Conference Freshman of the Year. It's Montana Wheeler, the 5'10". Hey, guess what? Bradley's got another sub 6-foot guard who is really, really good. The 5'10" freshman out of Houston, played 24 minutes, had 12 points, made a couple of threes, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal. Just fitting fingers into a glove in that offense and the way Brian Wardle wants to play. So super impressed with Montana Wheeler, and I think he's a guy that you can certainly expect to be in that early rotation for Brian Wardle. Bradley will host SLU next Thursday. That'll be their second public scrimmage exhibition game, I guess, against SLU, as they'll take on Josh Schertz and the Billikens. I think my favorite part of the whole thing here was that there was, I think, one possession. If I missed another one, I don't think I did, but there was one possession Brian Wardle played 1-3-1 zone, which I just thought was spectacular. I don't know if they're going to play 1-3-1 the rest of the year. The fact they played it for one possession, it just felt like the ultimate troll job to every other coach in the league, because they all saw that yesterday, or we'll see it at some point when they go down and they start preparing for Bradley. And now they've got to have a 1-3-1 offense in there, just on the off chance that Brian Wardle, who threw 1-3-1 possession in there in October, again, we may see it. He may run it all year long for big chunks, but I just was like, it was one possession, but it's going to have to go into the scout for Bradley opponents moving forward. This was a 3-point game with 90 seconds left. Again, doesn't matter. In the end, I thought Bradley played very well. Lots of positives. Of course, there's stuff to be able to work on, but overall, I thought very, very good in the end yesterday. Or on Saturday, rather. The other game of the weekend, Drake went to Wichita State. They won 69-62 in that scrimmage. That was more of a secret scrimmage format that we normally see. There was sort of an offense segment early on. Then they played 2 20-minute halves, which is where we get the 69-62. Drake led 39-24 at the half there. And then after that 40 minutes, they played an additional 10 minutes, and that's where the reserves got their chance to play. So no box score provided from this. So a lot of it is just sort of word of mouth. But they were able to post a video online. Michael Admire, our friend, the Drake radio voice, who does their in-house broadcasting services there, he posted a post-game video. Here is that video. And I guess our Morning in the Valley correspondent, Michael Admire, with a breakdown of the game against Wichita State on Saturday.
Fans, today we got an early October look into this new look Drake Bulldog basketball roster right back here in Wichita. This exhibition game was broken up into a few different segments, no winners or losers, but plenty of takeaways.
It was really advantageous to play somebody in another jersey, right? We've been beating on each other for about 3 weeks now. Having fans made it a little bit more, excitement probably, but that really wasn't the main goal for us. The main goal for us was, what can we learn about our team? And we learned a lot. I learned a lot of things that I really, really like, but there's plenty of areas we need to get better.
That we're really connected on the court. Definitely we got stuff that we got to work on. As a team, we're so connected, and I think we're in a good spot.
I love our guys, and we really had a great amount of competitive spirit. I thought we bounced back from adversity, from negative plays rather quickly, so that was something that was really important to us. I thought we had great sharing the basketball. I thought we played very, very unselfish. So those are some of the things that really stood out to me. But when you're celebrating your teammate more than yourselves, that's what I really like to see, and we did that at a pretty high level.
All right, now it's a little less than a month until we do it for real. November 3rd, up at the Sanford Pentagon against Northern Arizona. We will see you then.
All right, that was Michael Admire. Appreciate his inadvertent work for the Morning in the Valley team here. One other good piece of news, I think, for Drake fans that we got to see, and this was Owen Larson, the transfer from warm up. He did not play in the exhibition game on Saturday, but he's getting close. Obviously, we talked with Eric Henderson a few weeks ago. It's just a matter of time. So very excited for him, certainly, to be able to get back on the floor. All right, time now to turn our attention to our season previews, and we are going to start with the Murray State women today, who, of course, finished 25-8 a year ago, 16-4 in the Missouri Valley, won a regular season championship, won their first ever Missouri Valley tournament championship as well, getting back to the tournament for the first time since 2008. Let's welcome in the radio voice of your Murray State Racers. Here is Jeremy Rose. Jeremy Rose, good morning to you, sir.
Happy Columbus Day.
Oh, hey, thank you. Thank you. I wish I had well, whatever day it is. I'm not off today, so unfortunately, unlike my school children and the post office, they got to work. So,
yeah.
Well, thank you for being with us today. We very much appreciate that, as always. Before we turn our attention to this season, always like to take a look back at last season to be able to cut down the nets in Terre Haute to celebrate a regular season championship, and then again in Evansville. It has been a journey, certainly over the last 7 years for Rochelle Turner, and finally got it done. How long does the fumes of that victory sort of at least stay in your real estate area there of just celebrating what an unbelievable accomplishment for that program?
I don't know when it will end, and I'm not looking toward it ending anytime soon. I've got my finger all polished up and ready for our championship ring. That's something that I will cherish forever. That was, if you read the press release, which I don't know why you would, but if you read the press release about when I came on board with the Racer Women, that was one thing I put on there is I'm chasing a dream of winning a ring with Coach Turner and Coach Monica, and those gals right there. Man, they mean so much to me, and I know they mean so much to this community. And what a way to do it. We just dominated down the stretch, and you couldn't ask for a bigger finish out of that regular season, and then to go through the conference tournament and be at the old CFSB Center North, if you will, there at the Ford Center. You were there. You were sitting right beside me. It was electric. It was fun. It was everything that you want a conference tournament to be, and it was just great that we were able to come out on top.
But that is over. And as Rochelle Turner, as I'm sure, has mentioned to her team once or 87 times since the beginning of April when they started spring workouts, it's time to turn the page. And certainly the biggest pages turned are the departures that we always talk about. And certainly no bigger departure than Murray State's GOAT in Caitlin Young and her 3,000 points moving on. Certainly Ava Learn, just a walking double-double for this program. Just huge vacancies out of the post that are going to have to be filled. But I guess just from in terms of Caitlin, and we'll get to her return in a moment, but just from an on the court perspective and everything she did for 5 years, I always described her as as the North Star, that the gravitational pull she provided from the defense because she was such a threat. Without that, how does this team, in your mind, how do they need to evolve moving forward?
Well, I guess you kind of have to look at it in the same way that you look at life. People retire, people move on. It, it's it's just part of what we do as people, and having to learn how to deal with Kate not being there is something that I don't think you're able to do it until you actually have gone through that process in that moment. That first time that they're looking for a bucket down low, and she was always that one to just go ahead and drive it in there and get fouled and head to the line. Somebody else has got to do that this year, and I don't know that position will be played the same way moving forward because they don't have to. It's a different type of post now that they have, which is great that they were able to bring on a different altogether, because I think that's what we have. I think you're going to see more Ava-ish. I think probably of what you're looking at moving forward, that kind of player than that real just post it up and give me the ball and let me go. Instead, I think you're going to see a lot more slashing, and it's going to be fun either way. And I can say that because we're going to still be able to see that smile of Kate's and know that she's still around. And we're going to be rooting Ava on as well from Ireland, and she's gotten off to a great start. And glue like Trinity. That's another piece that I think this team has. I think they've got that grit, that determination already, knowing some of those characters that they already have. So I feel like that without having Kate, I mean, the Bulls had to go without MJ at one point or another,
Yeah.
And you just have to move on to the next book.
Well, we talk about the departures of 4 all-league kids last year on this roster, 2 of them leaving, but boy, you got 2 back, and you lose the 2 forwards, and now maybe in this system it's beneficial. I guess we'll find out that maybe it's more of a guard system. You've got 2 of the best guards in the league in Hallie Polk and Haven Ford returning this season. I guess just we'll start with Hallie coming from Bradley a freshman year. There were some ups and downs maybe early as she found her legs, but she is as dynamic of a point guard. And that was the thing about these two, and as well as anybody, it was like sometimes Hallie was point guard, sometimes Hay would be the point guard. Didn't really matter the interchangeable parts, but between the two of them, what a dynamic backcourt duo for Coach Turner.
Yeah, I think that, you look back to last year, and those were probably glory days that a lot of people are going to look back at and think, holy cow, how did they have all 4 of those on the floor at one particular time? But I think about, Hallie from that first year at Bradley and watched her torch us a couple of times. Now, the rest of the team didn't, but she did. And that was something to see. And it was like, my goodness, that is a player right there. And then I didn't realize, I don't guess, and just like the shot that you've got up right there, I think of Hallie from behind the 3-point line. I don't think of her as this player that gets to the rim like she does, but she is absolutely fantastic at being able to break you down and get into the lane. And I'm wondering how many points that she scored just from the free throw line alone last year. I don't have a crack staff beside me, but I know that there were a lot of and ones that she had last year that made big differences in games. She's steady as can be. She can handle the ball with the best of them, and she's tough as nails. And so is that other side of the backcourt with her in Haven Ford. In that game right there, we were terrified that she had broken her hand in that second half and was, like, what's going to happen here? And, you know, Haven being Haven, she battled through it, and she wasn't the same the rest of that game, and obvious reasons why she wasn't the same. Um, but she had that Willis Reed moment that I don't think any of us are ever going to forget. And she just she tickles me. They both do in the way that they are, the way that they work with Coach Turner, the way that they work with the other players. They're just great young ladies and terrific ambassadors for Murray State.
Yeah, a little dislocated finger from Haven in the Missouri Valley Championship breaks through the skin, and it's kind of her cut me Mick, cut me moment. And
Yeah.
they taped her up, and she came out and helped finish the job. When we talk about the additions this year, and certainly, excuse me, that you go and pick up a Sharnice Curry Jelks, who spent the last 2 years at Indiana, and she was the Ohio Valley Conference Freshman of the Year a couple of years ago at UT Martin. I think a real plug and play piece to try to. You're never replacing Caitlin Young, but certainly can help. I think a key piece, that you get from within the league. You bring in Kesslyn Seacrest, who was the leading scorer at Indiana State. Yes, they struggled last year, but she torched the Racers last year as well. And so it was kind of one of those, well, come on over. We'd like to play with you rather than against you.
Yeah. Sharnice, I remember seeing the game that she had against us, a few years back now, when she was at Martin. And I thought, wow, this is quite a talent. And, she was from just down the road in Jackson, and then gets the opportunity to head to IU, and was there during a couple of really, really big seasons for the Hoosiers. I know that she didn't get the opportunity to play a whole lot while she was in Bloomington, but I think that probably has put her in a spot where that she's just itching to get back and get going again. And long arms, long legs, a shot blocker when she needs to be, I'm sure, and can go up and get the rebound as well as be an offensive force inside. So great to be able to get her, and they got her pretty early, which was good, and it helped them to be able to set up what they were going to do the rest of the off season. And then Kesslyn Seacrest, she's dynamite, man. She can play. I think she's very much got the Hallie Polk kind of game where she's deadly from the 3-point line, but she also can get inside and can get herself in toward the bucket and find her way to the free throw line. I think folks will really fall in love with both of these players, and I think the success is ready to be continued.
Great kids coming out of the portal, and I still might argue that the greatest addition to this program this year will be Caitlin Young coming back as an assistant coach, and went to Australia, played. She had danced around. Yeah, I'm going to go to Europe and play over there. And somewhere along the line, there was a little coaching change. Rochelle Turner says, "Hey, what do you think?" And as much as I'd talked to Caitlin over the years, coaching did not seem like anything she was interested at all in. And then when rubber had to meet the road, she's like, "Yeah, I think I like that." Talk about credibility. Can we just point up at the 31 in the rafters? She walks in and she's got a voice that will swing like a hammer, that those kids are going to listen to her for sure.
Yeah, I kind of feel like the Wayne's World "we're not worthy" moment every time that I walk into the gym and look up and see that, and then look down and see her. It's going to be great to be able to have her back in any capacity that it could be. And I'm just so glad that it's going to be on an everyday level instead of, being a Cardinal fan. Yachty comes in every once in a while, and we celebrate that Yachty comes into town every once in a while. Kate's going to be there. Kate's going to be there to help. She's not just there to smile and wave.
Right.
And I don't know if she would have done this if it hadn't been the situation that it was, and how that Murray has become a second home to her, and that this is her family. So many of them that are in that locker room. I don't know if she does this in another way, or if she goes and tries to play more ball, or if she, gets married at this point. I know that she's engaged, and they're working through that as best they know
Yeah.
how. But I know that both of them are successful human beings, and proud of both of them, and just can't wait to see what she's able to help tell them, and uh, how that that the team responds to not having her out there. Obviously, that's question mark number one, number two, and number 10,000. But I really feel like that she's there, and it's just in a little bit different form, but that these young ladies will be there for her, and she's going to be there for them too. And it kind of sounds like broadcaster speak or coach speak, but I really think that way because I've had the opportunity to know her for over 6 years now, and she's just a delight.
I think the biggest adjustment may be for Rochelle Turner when gets into the fourth quarter and we need a bucket and she looks down at the bench. And she's like, oh, she's holding the clipboard. I
Yeah,
need her.
yeah,
I need her in uniform. Schedule wise, only 4 home games this year. Some decent ones, St. Louis, Memphis, UAB coming in. The real tests will be on the road. South Dakota State, one of the best best mid-major programs, the best mid-major program in the country, going to Illinois as well. Go to Morehead State, a homecoming for Haven Ford to play over there. Rochelle Turner has said maybe the biggest lesson she's learned is it's okay to lose in the non-conference. We just need to try to get this team together and get them ready for the 1st of January. I have known Rochelle Turner for almost 25 years. I know you have known her probably longer than that. Being okay with losing is not really what she means. It's
no,
not what she means at all.
yeah. I just think that she figured out real early that to be able to be ready for competition when you get to January, you've
Yeah.
got to go through some trials to get there. And last season we did that on the road quite a bit. We had a 4-game road swing that seemed like we were gone for 2 months
Yeah.
between Memphis to Little Rock. St. Louis was in that, and I don't know. There was one more in there too, but
Maybe too. Yeah.
yeah, that was the other one. And I mean, um, that can either make you or break you. I think real quick in a pre-conference portion of the season, and it was rough, but we came out of that 3-1, and had an opportunity to fold in a couple more of those games, and like the Memphis game for sure, and we held on, and then we really took it to Little Rock after I think we kind of figured out ourselves a little bit more, and then St. Louis, weird game, got up 17-0, and then they scored 17 in a row to tie it up, and here we go. But it'll be fun when those teams come in, and with such a small home schedule for the non-conference. Hopefully, that's going to make people crave their women's basketball, and will be there as the season goes on.
21 days from today, we'll get our exhibition game, and then they are off and running from there. Jeremy Rose, the radio voice of the Murray State women's basketball program. We'll see you soon. Thanks for coming on today, and we'll talk again very soon.
Sounds good. What kind of T-shirt or sweatshirt have you got on today?
This is the Center College Colonels. This is just ultimately a billboard for where a lot of my money goes every month. So
I see. I thought it was Chattanooga, and I was
no,
like,
no. Center College. So it's yeah.
There might be some copyright laws between that C and the C with the Mocs. I don't know.
We'll let the Colonels and the Mocs fight that out in the courtroom. So, all right, brother. Thank you. We'll see you soon.
Have a good day.
Thank you. There is Jeremy Rose and the Racers. It is natural to think, boy, they have so much back. They're going to be great this year again. But those pieces they lost are significant. Not that they can't be overcome, but it is certainly something. It will be an adjustment, and that is what November and December is for Rochelle Turner and her staff as they get ready to roll into conference season when you get to December. All right, it's time now to start talking about the Bradley Braves as see Dave Snell is in our waiting room. I don't know if he is ready to roll yet. If he is listening, we want to talk about Bradley and continue our preseason coverage. Let's see if Dave is here and ready to go. Don't want to get into the middle of something, then have Dave not here. Well, we'll wait on Dave for a second. We'll jump into some other conference news as we did see over the weekend. Mitch Muscari, the former Drake guard, has signed a contract with the Sacramento Kings organization. As it is likely at this point, it's the details of the deal were not made public, but believed to be what they call an Exhibit 10 deal, which is ultimately it basically signs him to Sacramento. It entangles him with Sacramento, where it's a G League deal, where they have his G League rights and they can move him around wherever they like. But certainly one of the big pieces of Drake's wonderful 2024-25 season, as again he thought his basketball career was done. He was done at the Division II ranks there with Ben McCollum. Gets the job at Drake. Hey, you want to come back for a 5th year? Sure. And now he's going to get to play for the Sacramento Kings organization. So congratulations to Mitch, and we'll see how that shakes out for him. Yesterday was the in a lot of ways Christmas morning of basketball nerds everywhere, as we got the Ken Palm preseason ratings released. And I thought the part about that yesterday that jumps out was the Bradley Braves picked first in the preseason. And that was almost a little bit, I don't want to say surprising, but the computer metrics, at least this metric, has Bradley first, Belmont second, Northern Iowa third. Hey, remember Illinois State? They're the team everybody thought was the hands down number one. They came in fourth. And then it's Drake, SIU, Murray State, UIC, Indiana State, Evansville, Valpo. The thing that jumps out to me looking at these numbers is that, look, Bradley's at 106. UIC's 135. That's 1-8. Those are bunched together. That is negligible difference between those 8 schools. Then you have almost a second tier of Indiana State at 186, and then they're 9th. And then the third tier, that's when you get to the Evansville 246, Valpo 283. They're going to have some work to do. So that is, I was a little surprised. Again, a little surprised to see Bradley at the top. But again, Ken Palm is a predictive measure. That's what you have to remember. They are playing out the whole season. Eventually, their numbers and the net numbers will ultimately converge. But for now, it's kind of what have you done historically? There's the bias with that. Then you have how it's all going to roll forward as the games are played out. But today, Bradley 106. The number that jumped out, Rocco Miller did the counting for me, so I didn't have to. 79 power conference teams. 79 power conference teams in the top 96 in the Ken Palm. So all of them are in the top 100. Sort of shows the disparity in the powers and the mids. They're not going to stay there, but that's where they start today. All right. Our guest of honor has arrived. He is the longtime voice of the Bradley Braves, and he's going to help us walk through the Braves preseason preview. Let's welcome in Dave Snell. Dave, good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning. It's taken me a while to figure out how to get in this. I am challenged from a mechanical standpoint, but it's great to be with you. Love your show.
Well,
really love your show.
I appreciate it. We got you on twice, so we're good. We had some hurdles both times, but we've got you there, so we're happy for it. Hey, before we get into the season preview, Saturday we got to see some actual basketball. Braves and Green Bay. What was your general takeaway from that matchup?
Pretty much what you said earlier. The first half they were excellent because they were defensively very good, and that defense and rebounds, that's the core of the program at Bradley, and the offense will really take care of itself. They have a very deep team. They use a lot of people, and they have a lot of weapons. You mentioned Montana Wheeler earlier. and he can really shoot the ball. He's very quick. He's a different player than Duke Dean, obviously. First of all, he's a freshman, but he can really shoot it. And his defensive abilities are very, very good, even as a freshman. They have a lot of new players, and that's the reason why Illinois State's obviously picked first to win the league, because they have more players coming back. And because of the way the portal is, the preseason ratings mean nothing. Look what Drake did last year when they were picked 4th or 5th, and they dominated the league. That could happen with any team, because this is a different day of college basketball, where you think a team by what they've done, but there's so many new players in the league that anybody can make that elevator move up and down. So I think that's I'm not really crazy about the portal, but the one thing about it is you get to see new players and some unexpected teams because of it. Bradley has a player from James Madison, and obviously you mentioned Hubricks from Wright State, who Bradley played last year. He had 14 points in the game, and I've done a lot of homework on him, and he had games last year of 38, 36, and 32. So he has the ability to hit the three-point shot. He's an uncanny shooter. And the other one who has a player that came in that didn't even know the language, and I'm holding my camera here as best I can.
You're all good.
And that is Meta Jonovic. He came in not being able to speak the language and had no idea of what Brian was running. And now he's a weapon. He really is. And you can go inside out on him. You have to. He presents a problem to people as big, because there aren't that many big people in the Valley.
No.
With that size. And Bradley now, they're going to redshirt one, but they have two players. They have a player from China that played a little bit the other night, and
Caillou, yes,
and he's going to be a backup center. So they have a lot of options that they can use. But the freshman class, they have two all-state players, one from Peoria Manual, Dietrich Richardson, and the other one is the son of a former Bradley player, Aaron Zobrist, and Matt is his name. He's a left-handed shooter. He's an excellent shooter from the perimeter and does some things from the inside. As far as the game the other night, it had a lot of things with it because he used so many players. The game was close at the end, and that's what you want in an exhibition game. You want a game where you're challenged at the end and make big plays. So I think it was a very, very good game for them to play. Brian obviously coached there. It was a night they retired Kiefer Sykes, probably his best player when he was at Green Bay. They retired his uniform. Brian Baroni is a good friend of mine from SIUE who went to the tournament last year. He was there because he was on the staff with Brian at that point. Now at Colorado State is Jimmy Foster, who was a long time with Coach Wardle. He was there at the game the other night. So in addition to the game, we had all of these other things that went with it. And then yesterday they went to the Packers Cincinnati game. And most of the time, I guess most of the guys probably never been to an NFL game.
Sure.
So it's a great weekend for them to bond as a team, which always happens when you go on the road because there's no tickets and all of those things for home games. So it was a good experience for them, I thought. And I'm glad it was televised because driving to Green Bay from Peoria and back is a little adventurous.
I'm sure. All right. Spinning out of last year, 28-9, big third round of the NIT. 15-5 in the Valley, finished second. You know, when I talked with Coach Wardle a couple months ago, I see, you know, it's a unfortunately for the Braves, they've had a Drake problem the last 3 years and had really good teams to win 76 games in 3 years, to go 44-16 in the league the last 3 years. It's awesome. And they've just had this speed bump of Drake that has just had their number in St. Louis the last 3 years. When you look at, you lose your top 4 scorers, 4 seniors graduating, and Duke Dean and Darius Hannah, Zeke Montgomery, Christian Davis, such talent and guys that will be certainly in Duke rather, revered by this fan base forever. Does it feel like it was a missed opportunity? Maybe you weren't able to get back to the NCAA tournament. And we talked a little bit, this is a long question, I know. We talked about, you know, being able to flip rosters now. Feels like that window closed. And maybe there's a new window to open, but it just felt like maybe you guys left a little bit on the table there.
Well, Drake played very well in a championship game, and they had a superstar player. It was not Bradley's best effort, and they were very disappointed after that game. That being said, they went on, and I think they would have won the NIT had Darius Hannah not been injured.
Yep.
Because he was a weapon. He really was. A lot of the things that Meta is doing now, they did with Darius, who's now playing in Israel, by the way. So all of those guys that left are playing professionally overseas, except one from the year before, and that is Malavai Leons, who, fortunately or unfortunately, he's on the Thunder with all that great talent, but he tore it up in the D League, and he also just finished playing for his country, and I believe they qualified for the European Nationals or whatever that is. Brian, his idea is to compete for the title every year. And no matter, his players always get better in February. And this team has a long way to go because they do not have that kind of veterans leadership and that they had with Duke and the rest of them. But that being said, this is a new year. These are new players, and practices have been very, very hard. And that's good because that's what the Missouri Valley Conference is. It's difficult night in and night out. And I think by the time that comes, that they will be challenging again. By the way, you said you had the Chattanooga shirt on, and we know all about them.
Oh, yes. No, it's Center College. It looks like
I know.
Yes.
But when he said Chattanooga, I thought of those two guards that were really good, and we felt they should have won that game and gone on, but that's basketball.
That is basketball for sure. So you lose the top 4, but you've got, as we've mentioned, you've got pieces coming back. And we talked about Meta, Damarion Birch. For me, I just feel like, you know, Jaquan Johnson is going to be the next under 6 foot guard that can really run that team. Just so strong. Looks like he can bench press a house, but just such a demon on the defensive end. What leap are you hoping to see out of Jaquan this year?
Well, I think I'm frozen now.
I can hear you. We can hear you. Yep.
Jaquan is called Bully, and it's because of Bulldozer. And it's because he can get to the basket. He is a football player. He was an excellent football player in the Milwaukee area, and he's kind of a football player that plays basketball at a high level. I call him Apollo because he has spent the entire off season in the weight room to get even stronger than he was before. He's a driver kind of like Birch. Birch, you never can tell when he's coming down the lane exactly what he's going to do, but it's going to be something that you probably haven't seen before. And with Johnson, his defensive ability is so good that he gets a lot of breakaways, and he has, I think, the strength. He's even stronger this year, And I think that's going to pay dividends for him. And he's only a sophomore.
In terms of the additions, and we've talked about Alex Hubrick's, AJ Smith as well coming in, especially Hubrick's. I just think, boy, just a home run hitter from the outside. But Smith is a guy that we showed a lot of athleticism coming from James Madison. Just feels like that the portal taketh, but boy, the portal can giveth as well.
Yeah, it really is. It's a process because now they have to learn a new system. The terminology is different, and so in addition to, and there you see AJ. I asked him if he knew who AJ Foyt was. He had no idea. But it just takes a little while to incorporate, even though they're terrific players and they made contributions to the last team. It takes a while not only to work in with their new teammates, but also to learn the offense and the defensive schemes that they have. And so it takes a while, but you can see that the ability is there. And there are times when he'll hit 5-6 shots in a row, kind of like he did in the first half the other day. And AJ is very, very strong. He loves to go to the basket. He can shoot from the perimeter a little bit, but those two guys are going to be leaders because one's a graduate and the other one's a senior. So they kind of have to lead. There's Hubricks. He missed that first shot, but team gets the offensive rebound, and I think that was Zobrist, as a matter of fact. And there he is. Boom.
Yeah,
they'll run a lot of stuff for him because, in fact, in listening to their play-by-play at Green Bay, they played against him, and they said they are certainly glad that he's not going to be playing against them this year.
I bet. All right, I know you got a meeting here coming up. Just real quick before we let you go, schedule-wise this year, I think it's not often. You're always pretty happy when you can only have to go on the road one time, 5 home games, 4 neutrals. You get Washington State coming back into your building. You get the trip down to Florida in the non-conference for your MTE. You're going to play in that Field of 68 event down in South Carolina. A good St. Bonaventure team to open up. Maybe the best game, though, is that one road game at San Francisco. When you look at the schedule as it was all made up, what's your general feeling of preparation this schedule is going to do for getting the Braves ready for the Valley?
Well, they'll play Princeton in the first game in Florida, and then they'll play the winner of San Diego and Temple. And the other half is Townsend, Rhode Island, Liberty, and Vermont. That's kind of a quote-unquote major tournament.
Yep.
With those names. And with San Francisco bringing Washington State in, I think that those games really will prepare you for the league, and also give you an idea where the team is in December before they play the first 2 games in the league. I think they play Southern Illinois and Indiana State on the road. Southern at home and Indiana State on the road. Those are the first 2 games, and then they'll finish out the non-conference and then go at it. And I think on New Year's Eve, I think we have the Belmont Murray trip coming up. So we'll see you guys. I love your show, by the way. I do get a chance to watch it. I saw the interview with Brian. Brian is great to work with. He really is. And by the way, his daughter is playing for the women's team.
Yes, Miss Maya. Yes.
And she was a state champion in Illinois, and point guard, smart leadership from an athletic family. Mom was a soccer player at Marquette. Obviously, Brian was, I think he's 9th now all time in scoring still. And to work with him is just a pleasure. It really is. We have a great relationship, and I really enjoy. I go to practice every day, and so I get to see quite a bit and be ready for the season. And I look forward to seeing you guys soon.
Very much so. Dave Snell, longtime voice of the Bradley Braves. Thank you for the time this morning.
All right, Jeff. Thank you.
Enjoy your meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, there's Dave Snell. It is look, and we can I don't even know if joke is the right way to put it, but it's like, hey, Bradley picked the one and Ken Palm. Yeah, are you going to be surprised if we get to March and Bradley's cutting down the nets for a regular season championship? No, you're just not. But I think that's going to be the joy ultimately of this year, and that's going to be the deal of, it's Bradley or Belmont or Northern Iowa or Illinois State or Drake or SIU or Murray, USC you want to throw in there. I mean, it's going to be a fist fight this year. And I think we have a lot of good teams. I said this yesterday. There are a lot of good teams in the Valley. The question is going to be, are there any really good teams? And are we going to get a breakaway of sort of a breakout from the pack? Great team. That's the question. That's going to be, are we going to have an opportunity to get multiple teams into the NCAA tournament? Ken Palm's important, just like the net's important because it's used in filling out the at-large field. Today, October the 13th, we don't have an at-large team. We are not a multi-bid league today. But that is where that work will have to be done on the court once we get to November 3rd. And there are plenty of opportunities for our teams as a collective to be able to do that work and hopefully get off to good starts, do well in the non-conference because, look, Ken Palm, and if memory serves, I think they had, and let me just double check here. Yeah, they have Bradley winning the league at 13-7. I mean, if 13-7 wins the league, it's carnage. And there's no way we're going to get multiple teams into the tournament. That's just simple math. But again, Ken Palm's sort of, the predictive numbers and the predictive analysis of how teams will do in conference play. Every conference. I mean, like they have Kentucky winning the SEC at 15-5. Conference champions in the regular season are not going to lose 5 games. It happens sometimes, but not the norm. But are we going to get a team like a Drake who can go, 17-3, 18-2, whatever they were last year? You need somebody to be the rabbit, and you need somebody to come with them. But this feels like today, 3 weeks out, we have this is as deep as the league has been in a while. The problem is just too many good teams, maybe not enough great teams. That's what we're going to wait to see unfold here over the next couple of weeks. All right, I think we have one more piece of news today, and that is and this is some more, conference realignment news is the best way to put it. I think it was Friday that the Little Rock Trojans announced that they were going to the UAC, which my first question to that was, what is a UAC? Because I have apparently fallen asleep during that chapter of the conference realignment book. It is the United Athletic Conference. It is a combo of the old WAC and the ASUN. It has been formed to be a partnership for football purposes from 2023 to today. Starting in 2026, it will become an all-sports league. And Little Rock will leave the Ohio Valley Conference on June 30th, and on July 1, 2026, they will be part of the UAC. This is only relevant to us from a standpoint of us in the Missouri Valley. There had been discussions about the Valley going to 14 next year. And when you start kind of looking at the geographic footprint of who could potentially be an addition, it was, my belief and argument is if the Valley's going to add schools, they need to add non-football playing institutions. Little Rock fits that bill. And I thought if they've got tradition, if they're willing to spend the money to get up to speed with the rest of the Valley, I'm not opposed to them. That is now off the table as they have gone to the UAC. The OVC, who as recently as 5 years ago had Murray State and had Belmont and had Eastern Kentucky and Austin Peay and Jacksonville State. All 5 of those institutions have left. The latter 3 all went for football purposes. Murray State and Belmont, obviously for basketball, came to the Valley. Well, Tennessee Tech is also leaving the OVC at the end of this academic year in June of 2026. So the OVC now feels like it's wobbling, and as more long time. Look, Tennessee Tech, one of the oldest, I think they were the oldest remaining initial members of the OVC, gone. Little Rock's only been there a couple of years, but now they're gone. So does this now become that game of musical chairs where you have everybody looking around like we've got to find somewhere else to land because I don't know what's going on here. OVC is saying, hey, we're trying to grow. They're saying all the right things about, hey, we're not going anywhere. But when you start getting teams leaving, you start to wonder what's left. And so now it becomes, if teams are looking to peel out of the OVC, are they potentially appealing in some way to the OVC? Or I'm sorry, to the Missouri Valley. And, again, as we talked about a month or so ago when this came up, it's like there is no slam dunk. Absolutely, we need to go get those guys. There are any school you want to add, you feel like you can shoot holes in that idea. But you look at who's left. Lindenwood out of St. Louis, and this is just from geographic standpoint. Southern Indiana out of they're in Evansville. We're getting thin on ideas real fast in that league now with who's going to be left. So, and I am not advocating for either of those schools, but it's just one more off the table. And I don't know how on the table Little Rock was, but I just feel like those aren't going to be the only schools leaving the OVC. History is shown. And then when pieces start getting moved around on the chessboard, how is that going to impact the Missouri Valley? We will find out soon enough. And again, if our friends at the March to the Arch podcast, if their intel was right, we're going to 14, and we're going to 14 starting July 1. Well, we're getting into realignment season as we see here with Little Rock, and we'll find out soon enough if any of those additions are happening. We will talk with the commissioner Thursday. We have Missouri Valley Conference Women's Media Day Thursday. Men's Media Day next week, I believe, is Monday and Tuesday. So we will have the commissioner have an opportunity to speak with him from a media standpoint. We'll bring you all the news and notes coming out of that here on Morning in the Valley. All right, that does it for today. Thanks to Jeremy Rose, Murray State Women's radio voice, Dave Snell, the Bradley Men's radio voice, for continuing our preseason coverage here. We will continue on Wednesday with teams TBA at this point. But thanks to you for being with us today. If you haven't done so already, please head to YouTube, subscribe for free to Morning in the Valley, and like, share, comment, and just let your friends know. They love Missouri Valley Conference basketball. We're here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, at least for the next couple of weeks. That ball starts bouncing for real. We'll be here a little more often, and looking forward to bringing that all to you. Thanks for being with us today. Happy Monday. Enjoy the rest of your week. And we'll see you Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. right here on Morning in the Valley.